Hey, what is up? This is Nate McAllister from EntreResource.com. I want to show you a tool that I created that will help you schedule out your email sequences. And more importantly, it's going to show you how valuable an email sequence is. It's going to let you know how much you can pay to acquire an email to still be able to make a profit, right? So you'll be able to find out if an email is worth $1 to you for a sequence, or $2 or $3. And then you can plan your paid traffic accordingly. This is really an awesome tool. I hope you like it. Let's get into it. You can also download it just by clicking the link below, provide an email, and you get this totally for free. So let's get into it. All right, here's what the worksheet looks like. It probably doesn't make much sense to you right now, but it will in a second. Over here on the left, these are all the different emails in a sequence. An email sequence can be however many emails you want. It can be 2, it can be 3, it can be 1,000. Most email service providers, ESPs, they will allow you to have as many emails as you want in a sequence. So on this one, I've used a real world example. This is an actual sequence that I ran to 5,626 different email opt-ins. And these were the results from the sequence. So all these numbers, they're pretty great. Right, I was able to actually see how much I was making on each email, and I was able to see, and I'll show you in a second a little bit more about that, but I'm able to see how valuable an email subscriber is if I put them into the sequence. So first thing I did was, and I'll go through this and I'll put in all new numbers so you can see how the spreadsheet works. So let's start up here. Let's start at cell C3. And when you're looking at this, if you want, you can add more cells to this. You'll just have to mess with this a little bit. It's customizable. There's some formulas in here. So if you do change anything, make sure that you don't screw up the formulas. Save an extra copy of this somewhere so that you can reference it. If you do mess it up, it's not a big deal. You can just restart or whatever. But I gave you guys 14 here. I thought that was plenty for most of you to get started. Even just 3, 4, 5, 6 emails in a sequence is much more than most people are doing, and you're going to be getting some results with a sequence even that short. So here's the one I did with 8 emails. It converted really well. I was getting about $2.97 in value per subscriber for the whole sequence. So that's just for that sequence, and then I have the subscriber on my list afterwards, so I can send them broadcasts outside of the sequence once they're finished. So if I have something else to sell or something else I want them to do, I want them to go watch a video, I want them to go read a blog post, like something on Instagram, I can do that. I can send them an email later. So the $2.97 is just the value per subscriber for the sequence. And what's really so cool about knowing that number is that I can go out and pay for leads. And as long as I don't spend more than $2.97, I'm essentially getting the leads for free. If I'm spending $1, I'm making money for every lead that I get. I'm making $1.97 for every dollar that I spend, and that's profit. So that's awesome. So your email list is so powerful. To grow a brand, you need an email list. Don't listen to anyone who tells you email is dead. It is so alive. You should be able to get at least $1 per month per subscriber on your email list if you're emailing them properly. And a good sequence is a great way to make sure that you start your list off properly. You're going to make sure that people are opening your emails from day one. You're going to be able to pay for the lead that you bought with this opening sequence. So you can go out and spend as much as you want pretty much, knowing that the sequence is going to pay for the ads and then some, as long as you calculate it properly. Make sense? All right, so let's get into the actual worksheet and I'll show you how to use it and what everything is here that we're looking at. First, the cell we're going to manipulate is, again, the cell C3. You can put whatever the list size is in there. For this one, this was a sequence I ran over time. So you're probably curious what to put there for list size. You can put, if you want to assume that you can get 1,000 leads in a month or a week or whatever, it doesn't really matter. You just want to know what the duration of time is that you're calculating. If you want to just see what it's worth for one person, you can do that and just put 1. And then it's going to show you the value of everything, assuming that it's going to be in fractions, right? So there's going to be, your profits are going to be very small for each email, right? But if we say it's 100, let's say you buy 100 leads with whatever paid traffic method it is that you use, you can see this profit, but that value per subscriber is going to stay the same. Whether I put 100,000 leads or not, it's going to be $297. And that's based on these other fields that I'll explain here in a second. So for now, just use something simple like just put 100 or whatever you want. If you have an email list already and you want to create a sequence that's not an onboarding sequence, you can do that too. So for example, I have an email list. I have several thousand different buckets, forms, if you will. And I can send a new sequence to any of those forms, with just a click of a button. So if I wanted to create a new sequence and send them, 8 different emails, I could do that. And then for this number, I would just put the size of that sequence or that size of that form that I'm contacting, right? So we put, let's say that's 4,000. We put 4,000 there. So the total profit numbers will change, but the average will stay the same. And I'll explain how to get this number to change. So for the list size, these are actual open rates from my campaign. The only thing that I put as a constant was 15% for conversions, and the sales value is the value. Well, I'll go through it one by one. So first we got list size. Next we have the open percentage. That's just going to be how many people open your emails. Next is so that anything that's in green, everything in green, that is stuff that you're going to actually fill out yourself. You're going to put numbers in there. And if you're just guessing and just playing around, you can just make a reasonable guess. Typically, the industry standards vary. If you get below 20% open rates, it's not good. You should be getting between 20 and 40% open rates. On a sequence, an onboarding sequence, you should be getting even higher open rates. That's another reason I love them, is when you do an onboarding sequence, your first emails are opened at a much higher rate than they ever will be, because people are hot for your product, they're hot for your brand, you're top of mind, and a sequence is important to capitalize on that. So you've got your open percentage, and then you've got opens, and that is just a simple formula that's taking this, multiplying it by that, and getting this. So that cell times that cell. So we don't actually mess with this. Next, we have the CTR. That's the click-through rate. That's how many people actually click the calls to action that are within our emails. And we want to make sure that we have calls to action in all of our emails, right? And for the sake of this example, everything that is clicked to leads to some sort of sale. In a traditional series, not everything is going to be linked directly to a sale. It might be something like I said earlier, watch this video or do this, do that. And then it can lead to a sale indirectly. But for this, we're going to assume that everything leads to the sale of an actual product, because this particular sequence did, right? So next we've got the clicks. That's going to auto-populate. That is just the CTR times the number of opens. So if 1,908 people opened the email, 12% clicked, which is an awesome click-through rate, right? Again, you're going to get an incredibly high number on that first, second, third emails. So the total clicks is 229. So that's so awesome when you think about it. 229 clicks. Think about what you'd be paying for those on Facebook or Google. You'd be paying, sometimes up to a couple bucks even just to get one click. And when you have someone on your email list, they're super targeted, and you're getting these clicks for free, essentially, after you've gotten the lead in the door. And then you've got your conversion rate. So the conversion rate is going to be the percentage of the clicks that actually buy something, that actually buy the product that you're selling. And then the sales value, if you don't know, sometimes this is easier. Like sometimes you can be sending a product. It could be your own product. It's $100. Your profit on it's $90. You put $90 there. Or if it's an affiliate product and it's $100 and you make a 40% commission, you put $40 there. If it's a recurring affiliate, you put the average lifetime value of that, right? So let's say that you have an affiliate that pays you $40 a month. The average customer keeps it for 4 months. You would put $160 there. So you want to know that value. It depends, whatever you're doing, this might be cleaner or dirtier, but for the most part, you just want to try to get as accurate as you can. Then we've got the profit. The profit is just going to be the sales value times the total number of sales. Then you've got the unsubscribe percentage. You want to keep this kind of around between 0.5% and 1%. Anything above that, you really want to keep it below 0.5%. Mine are kind of high here. It's just kind of the nature of it, depending on what you're doing. If it's a lot of sales stuff, you're going to have higher unsubscribe rates. And then you have the total number of unsubs. And again, that's going to change, based on the number that I have over here, however big the list is, right? That's going to change. And as you see here, everything is dynamically updating that is in these other fields. So the only things that I'm controlling are the stuff that are in the green cells, right? And you can see as I change things, like this value per subscriber, right? When that changes, the only things that can change that would be changing the click-through rate. So let's say I'm able to somehow let's say we bump this down to 6%. The value per subscriber went down because fewer people are getting to the product, so they're not going to convert. If I kick it up to 18%, the value is going to go up because more people are going to be buying. So let's put it back to where it was. It's what it actually is. And then the conversion rate, I put 15% for all of these. That's not, that's a guess. That's pretty high, actually. Typically, if you can get 3% conversions, that's pretty good. But for this particular stuff, I was getting really, really high conversion rates on some of the products. So the average there is 15%. But let's put something more like 5%. And again, you have to sell really relevant products. You have to sell products that are really related to the reason why the person opted into your list in the first place. I can't make a list for people who are interested in scuba diving and then expect to sell them timeshares, right? Or I can't sell somebody who signed up for a beauty tips lead magnet, and I can't expect to sell them, an electric scooter or something. It has to be related to why they're on your list in the first place. If it's not related, this unsubscribe percentage is going to go way up. And another thing that can change the total value would be the value of the sale. So if you have some higher ticket items, like let's say we have one product, I have some affiliates that pay $997 for a sale. That really greatly changes this over here. So whatever yours is, so let's go ahead and just totally wipe this out. Well, let me make a copy of that first. So let's go ahead and you can fill all of this out. If you want to just use conservative numbers, do 25%. Again, like I said, if you don't know yet, if you're just trying to guess, 25% is pretty low for a sequence. CTR, let's say 8%. That's again pretty low. Let's say that every single time you're selling the same product, let's say that the average value is, 20 bucks. You just spread that all the way down. Unsubscribe rate, let's just say it's relatively high at 0.75. Keep it there. And then we can go ahead and let's bump up this conversion rate, because let's say you're selling like a product that converts really well. Maybe somebody opted into this list because they wanted a discount on your storefront, and you know that when people come to the list, they buy a lot more. So then that's going to change all of this. So the best thing you can do is play around with it, and then actually craft your sequence, right? And then you'll actually craft your sequence. I'll show you that in another tab. All right, here's the second tab of the worksheet. This is where you're actually going to craft your sequence. You can do this in the email service provider that you use. You don't have to use this. This is just kind of to give you an idea of what I'm doing. This is literally the sequence that you're in right now. If you opted in to get this lead magnet, which was this workbook, you're going to get these emails. And throughout these emails, I've got some relevant things that I'm going to share with you. So it's kind of a spoiler alert. I know this is definitely different. So I'm going to see different results, I'm sure. But this is exactly what you're going to get from me in this sequence. One day, 2 days later. These are the subject lines. So spoilers. And then over here, we've got CTA type. That is, if it's a free download, a piece of content, social engagement, where I say like, hey, come follow me on Instagram, something like that. That has a ton of value. A lot of people forget to add that sort of thing into a sequence. This is just a direct product, which can be an affiliate product or your own. You can choose other. And then over here, I have the main link to whatever I'm sending them to, the affiliate that I'm trying to sell, or the product I'm trying to sell, the article I'm trying to send them to. And then I have conversion value. So I'm able to actually see this part. You kind of have to know the product Some things won't have any direct conversion value. They're harder to quantify. You can quantify the value of a blog post, I suppose, but I just put 0 for those. And I put the lifetime value. If it's a recurring subscription, I put the average lifetime value of a conversion. If it's a one-time thing, I put the one-time conversion value. And then over here on the column G, I put the time that I'm going to send it. This one needs to be 2 days after. And that's it. And that's the entire workbook, guys. I hope that you enjoy it. I hope that you use it. Feel free to mess with it as much as you want. Get as much out of it as you can. Do whatever you want with it to make it more customized to your own needs. Just make sure to save a copy so that you can come back if you mess it up too much. But have fun with it, guys. Go out and create some sequences, make some money. Take it easy.